It's 5:31. I call the El Reno Airport Authority, September 8th, 2020. Roll call will start with Ms. Ryder.
Here.
Trustee White.
Here.
Trustee Smith.
Here.
Chairman Robinson. Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Here. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Airport Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item number 1, approval of minutes of the August 11th, 2020 regular meeting of the El Reno Airport Authority. Number 2, approval of budget amendments for fiscal year 2020-2021, ending June 30th, 2021. And number 3, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning August 1st, 2020 and ending August 31st, 2020.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Chairman Robinson. Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Discussion items. Number 4, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the purchase of a Jet A fuel truck for El Reno Regional Airport, excuse me.
Adam, tell us about this fuel truck. We kind of involved with it a little bit, but it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it is definitely a good deal. So Kent and I, we started to think of ideas of how to get business aviation to our airport. That is essential for the economic growth of our community and our airport. And one of the things that you probably have in front of you, there's 2 different ways to fill up an airplane. You have self-serve, which is broadcast as SS everywhere when a pilot looks at an airport, and then you have full service, FS. A lot of pilots will not come to an airport unless they have that full service. So in other words, they have a very big jet. They need a fuel truck to come to the airplane, not the airplane come to the fuel system. So now we have a fuel truck. We looked at probably 120 trucks. This is, I promise you, the best bang for the dollar. So this is $35,000. We kind of worked up a deal so we could get it out here. We can take a look at it to make sure that it is exactly what we want. From the cab back, so the pumps, the filters, the hoses, all that is brand new. A lot of these trucks run probably around $200,000 to $350,000. This is a 2,300-gallon Jet A truck, and these guys that from Arizona that we contacted about a different truck said that this one was available, and let me tell you, it is a jam-up truck, and I've been out there at the airport going through it and making sure that it runs properly. It's a magnificent buy. It is an older truck. As you can see, it's a 1992 model. But it does not look the bar whatsoever. If you guys were out at the fly-in, you probably saw it stationed out there by the fuel system. We now have it branded Phillips 66 because we are a Phillips 66 carrier at the airport. And I've already been contacted, just listed it this past week out for pilots to see that we have that option at our airport. And this weekend I've received calls about that. So I think we're definitely heading in the right direction, and I think a lot of those pilots will start coming to us over a Will Rogers because they can come in and get fuel and be on their way, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to cater to those pilots in that time, because time is money in that business. So
The bottom line is all the money we make out there is from rentals agreements, oil lease agreements that we have been, and fuel cells. Fuel cells have been the only really long-term asset of the airport. Now everything's pretty well paid for, it is paid for. We're trying to keep that thing to where we can keep it self-sufficient. So in getting this new tool, which later on we can take the bed off if we want to put a new track on there. We had Jeremy look at it, so even though it's older, like Adam says, 1992, they don't have a lot of miles on because they're not going anywhere. They're just going from point A to B, and that's usually about 300 and something feet, maybe 500 at most. So anyway, it helps us basically utilize that Jet A fuel in order to get those fuel cells up that we need to make the money profitable to
Well, and I would think safety-wise, that would be good for safety also.
Yes, because we do not want an airplane running into a bollard or a fuel system or anything like that.
No.
And if I'm not there, then I can't guide them into the fuel pump that we have.
Right.
And so this is something that we'll run 7 days a week. We'll have that time slotted out there, and I'll be out there ready to fill them up as soon as they come in. And it's been said that a Jet A fuel truck will triple our fuel cells. I'm pretty confident that I can throw out that our new self-serve system has doubled our fuel cells. But if we can add another layer to help, like you said, keep climbing the ladder on those fuel cells and making more for the airport, I think that's a good deal.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah, thank you.
I make motion to approve the $35,000 for the truck.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Ryder,
Yes.
Chairman Robinson, Vice Chairman Ballhorn,
Yes. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I have a motion
I second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 It's 5:37. I call the El Reno Recreational Authority regular meeting, September 8th, 2020. Roll call will start with Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Robinson, Vice Chairman Ryder,
Here.
Chairman Ballhorn,
Yes. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Recreational Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item shall be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item number 1, approval of minutes of the August 11th, 2020 regular meeting of the El Reno Recreational Authority. And item 2 is approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2020-2021, ending June 30th, 2021.
Make motion to approve.
I second.
Have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson, Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Ballhorn,
Yes. Motion for adjournment?
So
One
move.
more thing before we adjourn. Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
I know Mr. Ledot's gone today, but I do want to make sure, I know he's working on it, but I would like to have those figures for, the figures that Chairman Ballhorn and myself asked for on the golf courses. I'd like to get that before we can do anything, because I don't know, but of course that needs to go for the recreational authority, let those guys look at it also.
Right.
So I'd like to see how he's coming along with that, we'll check with that.
Yep, I
mean,
will.
It hasn't been very long, but.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
It's now 5:39, I now call the El Reno Hospital Authority regular meeting of Tuesday, September the 8th, 2020 to order. Consent agenda upon item to be considered, roll call vote. Starting with trustee Steve Smith.
Here.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn,
Yep.
Trustee Robinson, Trustee Ryder,
Here.
Chairman White,
Yes. Move on to consent agenda. Upon item to be considered routine by the City of El Reno Hospital Authority, be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on that item be removed from the consent agenda, considered separately. Number 1, approval of minutes of the August 11th, 2020 regular meeting of the City of El Reno Hospital Authority. Number 2, approval of budget amendments for fiscal year 2020-21, ending June 30th, 2021. And number 3, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning August 1st, 2020 and ending August 31st, 2020.
Make a motion we approve.
I got a motion approved.
Second.
Second, roll call vote, start with council or trustee Smith.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn,
Yep.
Trustee Robinson, Trustee Ryder,
Yes.
Chairman White,
Yes. Before we go to adjournment, just a little quick update. The hospital's moving along pretty good, if you noticed. They're getting all the plumbing in, they've done all that groundwork, takes a lot more time than it does anything else. But you're gonna start seeing some pretty good action, I think, the next 2 months, don't you, Matt?
Yes, I think that had we not had all this rain, I think that we would see something sooner, but concrete's coming soon, so.
Yeah, concrete will be here for you now, so we gotta start seeing the configuration. All right, motion for adjournment,
So moved.
any motion?
Second.
Roll call, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
This now 5:40. I now call the El Reno regular meeting, of the Hospital Authority, I'm sorry, the Municipal Authority, regular meeting of Tuesday, September 8th, 2020. Order, start with roll call with trustee Wright.
Here.
Trustee Robinson. Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Chairman White.
Yes. All right, approval of the consent agenda. The following item be considered routine, considering the El Reno Authority, be acted one motion. I'm sorry, new business deletions figures to the time of the agenda. Are there any? This is messing with my, I can't, give me a glare, I can't breathe. Figures to the agenda at the time, are there any? Not, we want to be considered, the following item be considered routine by the El Reno Municipal Authority, act with one motion. Should discussion be desired on that motion, I'll be removed from the consent agenda in consent section. Number one, minutes of August 11th, 2020, regular meeting of the El Reno Municipal Authority. Number two, budget amendments of the fiscal year 2020-21, ending June 30, 21. Number three, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning August 1st, 2021, and, August 1st, 2020, and ending August 31, 2020.
Make a
So
motion.
I got a motion by
Second.
Ryder, second by Ballhorn. Roll call vote starts with trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson. Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yep.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Chairman White.
Yes.
Motion for adjournment?
Got a motion for adjournment?
Second.
I got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Roger, you mind saying the prayer? Yep. Okay, well, we can go first. Okay. I now, it's now 5:42, I now call the El Reno City Council, regular meeting Tuesday, September the 8th, 2020, to order. Roll call starts with Councilwoman Smith.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson. Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
Mayor White.
Yes. All right, before we go on, Roger, would you lead us in the word of prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, this beautiful fall day. Thank you especially for these men and women who are here about the business of this city. We pray for our city, for its leaders, and for our residents. We pray for our state and for our country. We ask for your continued guidance every day. Guide and direct us as we go to your will.
Amen.
Amen.
Join me in flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. New business deletion to do time, are there any? If not, move on to the consent agenda. Following item being written, considered routine by the El Reno City Council, we have one motion. Should discussion be desired on that item, that will be removed from consent agenda, consent for separately. City manager recommends that we approve one motion. Number one, approval of minutes for the August 11th, 2020 regular meeting of El Reno City Council. Number two, approval of minutes from the August 25th, 2020 special meeting of El Reno City Council. Number three, acknowledgment of donation from Devon Energy Corporation to the El Reno Fire Department, the amount of $500. And then number four, approval of resolution number 212021, a resolution of the City Council of El Reno establishing a 911 emergency telephone fee rate for the calendar year 2021. And number five, approval of release of the letter of credit, LOC 490751, in regard to the finalized plat of Settlers Crossing 3, addition to the City of El Reno, Oklahoma. Number six, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2021, and approval of claims requiring the council authorization for the period beginning August 1st, 2020, and ending August 31st, 2020. I would like to pull 5. Anybody want to pull anything else?
4.
Pull 4. Okay. Anything else? Okay, do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7.
Got a motion?
A second.
Got a second? Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson. Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. All right, we'll go forward. Approval of the resolution number 2112, a resolution of the City Council of the fees established the 911 emergency telephone fee rate for calendar year 2021.
Can we have some more explanation on this? And how those rates are going to be applied?
Well, yeah, I'm sure you can. But basically, it's the rates that we're not charging are,
No, it's through ACOG,
it's through ACOG.
and there's an annual resolution on the rate, right, Lindsay, as far as,
Every year
it's,
we approve a 5%.
it's 5%, and it has to be approved annually. And that's just a standard business as usual for ACOG and 911.
The cost of business, 5% increase every year that proposed to us. So we can vote against it, but then we can keep that in the 911
Right.
system. So
And now we get some money back for the 911 calls that we handle,
we get
though.
all the money back. It comes to us. The allotment does, is that correct? Based on the area that we provide?
Yes, I don't know, do we get all of it back, Kurt?
Yeah?
Get a biggest portion of it back. We might, what I'm saying, we might take in calls that are outside of our area, and at the end of the day, we wouldn't get all of that necessarily.
Yeah.
But for what happens in our area, we get paid back.
Yeah.
But then if it's not outside, and our area outside is becoming more and more because of cell
We're
phones,
taking on more.
540 and everything else. So we have, matter of fact, Ken and I, it was kind of, Ken's the one that did it, but we wrote a letter, I think, Matt, and I was involved with it, but there was some money that we got received last year that we didn't think we were gonna get, based on some of the coverage. Is that right, Kirk?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, that explains.
It does?
And we've taken on bigger coverage
Motion to approve?
as of late as well, which,
We're gonna take on more in the future.
yeah, so it should grow.
I got a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
Second?
Got a second. Roll call. Let's start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice
Yes.
Mayor Ballhorn, Councilman Robinson, Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes?
Mayor White.
Yes. All right, move on to 5. Approval release letter credit to regard to the finalized plat of Settlement Crossing 3 addition to City of El Reno, Oklahoma. We want to table this. We went out, staff went out there and looked at it, and we looked at it today at our meeting, our engineer meeting. They're not ready. I mean, they need to do a lot better job. I will tell you this, you know, we've let Settlers Crossing, and they've done a great job providing great homes for them. We want to continue. We're doing some current studies right now of the roundabout, of how that works, maybe making it a one-way. I got to talk to the police department about some of that. But they're also, we talked to them about opening that up for other access. So they're going to bring phase 4 back to us here soon. So when they do that, we're going to require them to have access connect onto that one back behind, which would be the new development back behind the RV park. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then we're also going to require them to have another access point up by the water, Ashbrook Drive now, Ashbrook Drive, which is Water Tower Road, right there to tie onto that, which will help the flow of that to give more. We can't keep on building homes out there and not have access somewhere to get out there. Now, you know, the size of the streets, the way that they're set up, that's the way they are in Oklahoma City. We can't do a whole lot about that because that's our requirements we have on everybody.
But if we open that up and let different avenues, it's gonna take a load off that main entrance.
So what we want to do is, Matt and I met with them, we've negotiated with them, we pretty well got that, we've sent the drawings back to them. They're going to come back with that, but we think that access is very important to have back there in order to do that. Don't forget that'll give another access point. They have 2 going in, but basically one's going to Walmart or Investors Drive, you'd say, and then the other one to the other one. So this will give a total of 4, and then there's another option, they're making a 5th one on the next development that they do. Does that make sense? So it goes back to the point to where we had to let them get those houses built in order to find the flow of it, to make sure it
Sure,
happened before we
sure.
made them do that access point. We're at that point now. But we want to wait till you get right to sign off on this, so let's table this until we get all the information back and kind of hold our feet to the fire. I just believe that Bob and I went out there, it's in Bob's ward, and it's in your area, isn't it? Well, you went out there because we went out to look at it. This area, is that yours?
Mine.
Yes.
So we went out there and looked at it, Bob's the one who got some complaints on it.
Yeah.
And we just need to kind of do some things. There need to be some more park improvements, I think.
Yeah.
And try to build that up a little bit, so let's bring it back to you, but I think really, myself and staff, and from what we're hearing feedback, we gotta have more access points in and out there, and I think that, if accepting this next deal, I think we can hold that to feet to their fire in order to accept that, then make them do that.
Well-
Do you agree?
I agree,
And
yeah.
on that round, if they are gonna let it be both ways, it'd probably be good to put a line across down the center of the road so people know that, because I've been out there a number of times and you'll be waiting to go, and I just, common sense, turn right and follow it around until you're ready to go out. But here comes somebody the other way, so it's kind of tricky right now.
And the bottom line is, it's a regular road, so it doesn't have to be marked. So-
Right.
But the bottom line is, before we get the police department to make a decision on that.
Sure.
Let's put some parallel parking in there on the street, because if you have one deal, then you can park on one way, but right now, if you're parking on one way, you're gonna go into oncoming traffic in order to do that. So let us bring the plans back and
Right.
then put some more stuff in there and more parking. I think that will alleviate some of that, and then we'll see how it works at that point in time.
Sure.
Once again, guys, I mean, we're doing like every other community. We're seeing some problems, we're correcting them, we're going over, we're discussing them, and it's a great little development.
Oh, yeah, and it's filling up fast.
Yeah, okay. So I want to make a motion, we table that.
Okay.
No, you know what, it's cool, yeah, no action. All right. Go on to item E, audit participation, for COVID-19 regulations, is item being held. Temporary adjustment to accommodate the situation at hand. If you wish to participate, please contact the city clerk by noon on September the 8th, 2020 at 295-930-10 or Lindsay Griggs at lcrn.com. Provide her your name, telephone number, email address, which item you desire to discuss. If your item is not on the agenda, please provide a brief description of the topic. You must participate by teleconference in person. You are requested to limit your presentation to 3 minutes. Any item being presented must pertain to the city of Reno business. Is there anybody? Jerry, is there anybody online?
The only other person online besides me is Jeff Silva.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. All right, any other comments? All right, we'll move on. F, discussion items. 8, discussion consideration possible action ordinance number 9238, an ordinance amending section 28 of chapter 361 of the Code of Ordinances for the city of Reno concerning building veneer requirements, declaring repealing, providing for severability, and declaring emergency. Dustin?
Yes, sir.
This went to planning commission,
It did.
and it passed 100%.
It did.
Basically what this does is laxes the rules on metal and veneer and some other things, is that correct?
Yes, for accessory buildings in the R1 and R2 zoning districts.
The only thing that I want to caution us about, and I know the planning commission did, we don't ever go against, when I say we don't ever go against them, we do, but not very often, because they do a good job. But saying that, and Jacqueline, I mean, you brought some points up to me, I guess you've been out talking to people in your ward, and you mentioned to me about those metal buildings that people were concerned, building those in a historic district, and I agree with you. And I've gone through that before you all were even up here, me and I think JT, Rogers, anyway, it was a couple of years ago we had that pop up. But anyway, the bottom line is that we need to really kind of be careful with this. I agree that we don't want metal buildings, but I agree that, if you want to put a metal building in your shop back, you should be able to do that. I want to table this item, Dustin. The reason why is I like the way this is written, but I want to show you specifics. And kind of like you and I were talking, you did a great job with this, as you normally do, because you like this kind of stuff.
Thank you.
But like Wendy's and the Jeep store and all those, plans we've seen, you and I, they're all using, in the new hospital, it's all using architectural metal, which is the panels and everything else.
Yes.
So we're allowing that in certain areas of commercial, but then in residential, I'm hesitant. We want to be careful that we're not allowing a big structure, metal building in a historic area. I just think we got to be real careful. I don't think we want a big metal building that looks like an airplane hangar with the front of the wood deal that we've had to kind of work the situation. And we worked through fine, and it worked out great, but the bottom line is we need to make sure we're all on the same page. So I suggest that we table this. Let's go over this with Dustin. I want to take Dustin and Tracy, Jacqueline, especially you. I know you've already mentioned a couple of them. Get him in the car with you and drive around and look at the certain areas and say, is this legal? Would this not be legal? So you get a better handle on what we're trying to do here. Does that make sense? Because I think the rules that have been set out from the planning commission are a little bit lighter. Are they not, Dustin?
Than what was previously, absolutely.
I'm not saying that we don't do that, I just think we need to know what the conditions are, and if you're doing that type of structure in a historic area, it takes away from what we're trying to, what the use of the property owner wants to buy. The property owner wants to buy a home normally in a historic district.
Right.
But is that not, does the historic, do they not make the houses build back similar to what they were originally, and they have their own way of doing things in their own
The answer to
section?
that question is there is not a historic district overlay. There is no specific, we know what area we're talking about, but it's not codified, there's no.
We're not
homeowners
coded by the
association.
Historic
Yeah,
Preservation
right,
Society.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't have the historic preservation.
Right.
standard
Right.
rules.
We do not.
And so that neighborhood and downtown, neither one. They tried to do a deal years ago downtown, and it didn't pass.
Right.
Preservation.
Yeah.
Is that right, Rob? Main Street. That can't.
There are several ways that we looked at coming about this, and there are definitely multiple answers to how to handle this. This was the one that the Planning Commission recommended we go with, but we can always look at alternatives, ways to look at it.
I mean, and I think that addresses some of your concerns, Ms. Smith.
Yeah.
That addresses some of your concerns in your area.
Yes.
Okay, I just think we just need to be careful with that and look at that, because I think if someone wants to put a shed in the back and they go, you know what, they build a shed, I don't want to deny them that. If it's covered and you can't see it, I mean, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Because, one neighbor says he can do it, and he had every right to do it, but the other one's upset. And in particular, like the one that Terry back, it's a nice looking building, it looks great. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but there's some other structures that we get various for pass that I do not agree with. I want to make sure we can't do that.
I agree.
Okay? So I'll make a motion to take.
Don't do anything.
I
just
second
take
it.
no action. Okay. Thanks, Dustin. Trust you, Lynn will do it. Now, I think you'll help, you understand where I'm getting with this, don't you, Dustin?
Absolutely.
Okay. Number 9, discussion, consideration, possible action, ordinance number 9239, an ordinance of the City of Reno, Oklahoma, amending Article 4 of Section 27, Chapter 361, the Code of Ordinances of the City of Reno, concerning wireless telecommunication towers, telecommunication facilities, and internet support structures as amended, declaring and repealing provisions for severability and declaring emergency. Dustin, the bottom line is this came up because of this one over here we had to get a variance for. Most structures that we have, you gotta have 4 acres plus, because back in the day, they had to have towers.
Guidelines.
Because they were designed, and they had to have guidelines.
Yeah.
Now they're not designed that way, they're designed to fall into themselves. So they don't have that, and they're not near as tall as what they were back in the day. They have a pedestal, and they gotta become concrete, it's a whole setup, and a lot different deal. So basically what we're doing is we're redesigning this.
Yes.
So if you're out at a farm or agriculture, basically exempts you completely, totally, that can do that.
You still have to get a building permit for it.
But, so we still check it out, but you have to go through the other process we have to do. And then the other one would be, basically, you can put it on certain areas, because some of those poles there are not very big,
Right.
that they have to do. Is that right?
That's correct.
Any questions on that?
Make a motion to approve.
I got a
Second?
motion.
Second?
Second. Roll call, we'll start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn,
Yes.
Councilman Robinson, Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. You need a,
Make a motion, we declare emergency?
Second?
you got a motion, and second by you, Smith? Should you say?
I think Tracy did it.
Didn't matter.
I hear.
Yes.
I got a motion by Ballhorn, second by Ryder. Roll call, start with Smith. I want to get everybody on the roll.
Yes.
There you go.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn,
Yep.
Councilman Robinson, Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Mayor White.
Number 10, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve ordinance number 9240, an ordinance, City of El Reno, Oklahoma, amending the Code of Ordinances, City of El Reno, Oklahoma, adding a new chapter 205, food truck service and mobile services, amending section 205-3, providing for application procedures, amending section 205-9, providing for exemptions, providing for repealer of severability, and declaring an emergency. Duff, come on in here.
Do you hear you?
I don't know, is he coming yet?
There's a delay in the video. There he is.
Jason, Chief, sorry, come on up, Chief. This is your deal a little bit.
Yeah, some of Jonathan's, but it's all on the same page, yes, sir.
Sure. Okay, so basically, a food truck now comes in town, and he comes up and he talks to Shelley. Well, he goes to the health department in Canadian County. He has to have a license from the Canadian County Health Department, right?
Yeah.
So he has to have that. Then after that, he has to come up to the city he's in, he or she. They gotta come to the city that they are in, and they gotta come to talk to Shelley, and Shelley provides him a permit, and we have a couple different options now that we work through. You know, we charge one amount that's too much, because they're day events, we got day events, 3-day passes, and all that stuff, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so we did all that, and now they have to have it inspected by the fire marshal.
Yeah, and he typically does do it on food trucks anyways, he inspects it, but this is for like a special event permit. So if they've got a special event and they're inviting their own food trucks in, Jonathan will be able to inspect them. A lot of times they just come in and set up shop, you know, for like, any of your big permits, not necessarily Burger Day, but Battle of the Bands that's coming up. Them trucks, they'll come in and they'll set the trucks up and they'll never be inspected by us. They just come in with the vendor.
Do you charge them any money for it?
No,
No.
they're still exempt from the money, they just won't be exempt from this action.
So they can't get the permit from City of Reno if they don't do the action with the fire chief?
They can do the event, but not the food truck.
No, no, I'm saying they're exempt. What I'm saying is, will Shelley revoke their license to the City of Reno if they don't get it inspected?
They just won't be allowed under the event permit.
Okay. So I got what you're saying. That's what my question. You're going through the special event permit, but now what if there's not a special event, and I come in, break,
And
set up shop?
they still have to be inspected.
They're still, where to do that?
Yes.
This is just, with the special event permit, they were bypassing so much.
Yeah, under the special event permit,
Okay.
the food
They
trucks
were still
are
have to be
exempt from
inspected no matter
permit.
what anyway.
Exactly, yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. Yeah,
So
we've already-
we can revoke their license if they weren't inspected.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, that's my
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, all this is doing is it's keeping it to where they can't step over and get inspected.
The bottom line is, we want to have more food trucks in town, we want to have more business in town, we want to have more events and everything else, especially when things went on, so.
But at the same token, we want to make sure they all have fire extinguishers and different things that they need.
Believe it or not, I'm for less government in your business, especially if you run a business. I don't like that when you're doing that, but saying that, I just want to make sure that we still have the deal, we do this apply for the special event, like if Adam's deal or whatever else.
Right,
You went out there, and all those people were already approved anyway, the way I understood it.
And we're working on maybe doing something to where they get a 6-month permit to where they can come in here and get that one permit.
Check it one time and be done.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
got you. Okay. I feel better about
Yeah,
it.
this is the same thing that we've always done. It's just now with a special event permit.
I didn't read it that way, I didn't understand it.
I should,
Thank you.
you bet.
Any other questions?
Make a motion, we approve.
I got a motion we approve.
I second.
Second, roll call vote start with Brian.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Councilman Robinson, Vice Mayor Ballhorn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith,
Yes.
Mayor White,
Yes.
Make a motion, we declare emergency.
Got a motion to declare emergency.
Second.
Got a motion second. Roll call vote start with Councilwoman Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson, Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Mayor White,
Yes. Going to 11, discussion consideration possible action resolution 2111, resolution City Council, Del Reno, Oklahoma, amending resolution 19021 in party by including fee for code 250-07 and increasing the fee for code 275-109, listing and establishing for a schedule of fines. Okay, Chief, Deputy Chief, basically what this is, Chief, is, that's something I asked to put on the agenda about the fines,
Littering.
and the littering at the lake. I just about had it with that. I put some grabbers out there and they took all my grabbers. So,
Oh. Why?
well, but I gotta keep on trying, because I believe there is some business people, and it was working there for a while. I ordered some more grabbers, so it's over here next week. But there was some church people picking the trash up, they were there for a week, so we did pretty good. But we gotta get that lake and those parks, and Matt, you worked real hard about the greasel, and you got more trash cans out there, because Kent wanted some, you wanted some. We were getting complaints about having more trash cans, we got more.
We need more.
Parks needs a little bit more.
We need more, yeah.
Yeah, Lincoln Park needs a little more, and because of COVID, everybody's been using it, Chief, is that right? So basically, we're raising that fine from $290 to $350.
Yes.
That's with the $35.
Yeah.
The court cost and all that, yeah.
so I just think that we need to get serious about it and raise it up there and find some people, and if they're throwing the trash down, then they need to pick it up. I mean, this is just.
That's right.
I agree.
We haven't, someone sent me a message about going to backside lake, and we're just like everybody else, grass has been growing everywhere. We understand that. But we've been trying to get stuff ready for the Little League stuff, all the practice fields and everything else so they can use them.
Well,
And we're working on that.
tall grass or short grass, you still don't litter.
I was just gonna say, but they don't, we understand that's our job, but it's not our job to go out there and pick up trash.
No.
I'm just telling you right now, that's.
I know, my friend Patty worked really hard picking up trash around Legion Park, like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not
And I've
necessary.
picked up the lake many times. And the thing is, it's not the big events that are causing the problem. It's the everyday people. And when the police don't see it's happening in the evening, that type of thing, I come back the next day, I'm like, what in the world? So if they can see it
Well, I think-
happening.
I talked to Chief Brown and Kurt, and I think they're gonna come up with a plan to help concentrate that and focus on some of that a little bit and spend some time, looking at that with some of the resources. We got other resources to do, but we're gonna try to focus on that and try to do that. But I want to impact $350.
Well, and $350 is cheap compared to a lot of places.
The bottom line is, it's cheaper throwing out a gum wrapper, and I'm not saying that we're here to do that, but the bottom line is litter is litter. And maybe whether it be one water bottle or, I went out there one day and someone had a party out there, and you talk about you clean up, I do it all the time. It was absolutely it was a whole Hispanic party. I'm not blaming them, I'm just saying I could tell it had the piñata, had everything else. I didn't get all the little pieces, I couldn't even get down it, but it took one whole trash can off that one deal that they had tape stuck to all the top. It's just terrible. I thought to myself, that's just not right, So anyway, $350, you're good with it. I talked to you guys about doing this for the lake. You said, no, let's just do it for the overall deal. Let's not complicate it. Let's keep it simple. I agree totally. Any other comments?
No, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, second?
I got a motion by Ryder, second by Ballhorn. Roll call, let's start with Councilwoman Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson. Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Number 12, discussion consideration possible action to approve resolution 21-013. Consideration possible action to approve resolution number 21-013, a resolution City of El Reno, the City of El Reno, Oklahoma, approving the June 28, 2018 wage voting amendment for the agreement creating the 911 Association of Central Oklahoma Government.
So move.
So,
By authority? No.
It's similar, same thing.
Yeah.
yeah, this was
By Ryder.
Second.
it
It's not the same thing.
wasn't an authority, no. No, this is a wait.
Just a motion.
Basically, give the
So moved.
authority that we only have.
Yeah.
Got a motion by Ryder.
Second.
Second by Ballhorn. Roll call, let's start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson. Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Number 13, discussion consideration possible action to approve special event permit for the Southern Drag Boat Racing Association LLC for the drag boat race to be held Lake El Reno from September 25th to 2027, 2020. Okay. Well, since we've had the boat races out here locally, put on by the Finnegan bunch, I say Josh's and Grocky and KK, we have the Southern drag boat race. That's the bigger boats. They've canceled all their events. They've had a couple the last couple weekends. We thought the lake was perfect for it. They came out last time. Great for social distancing. It's set up for them. They're excited about it. Same deal. We're going to have the lake shut down for a couple of days to have them do that area. We're willing to kind of work with something the next time. We'll see how it works the very first time. These are bigger boats. They have their own scuba team. We went over all that stuff. I mean, they got a recovery boat. I mean, they got everything. They got it all. This is a big time deal. So this is going to be a big show. This will bring a lot of people in town. That's what we're here to do. And the lake is perfect for social distancing and keep everybody calm. We can still bring people into our community and stay to ourselves and watch something. Take your kids out there and do what you want to do. So it's going to be a great event. They're going to have food trucks. They'll have vendors out there and everything else. So it's going to be a great day. So any questions on it?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion we approve.
Second?
Second by Ryder. Roll call start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson. Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Okay, presentation of financial reports. Marcia, got sales tax? I just saw where you sent me an email, just read it right before the meeting.
Yes, our August sales tax was $708,000, and our September it just came in with $768,000.
Good.
Our use tax though went down a little bit of time. It was 84 last time, it's 79.
Well, and you're saying last time compared to last month, which is that, the way I kind of have it figured on the quarter, just off the top of my head, basically, we've had 3 months now of the approved budget, which we're in our first quarter. So if we're in our first quarter, basically, we're about 65, I'm loving it, Marcia, you're gonna call me tomorrow and tell me I'm off $67,300, whatever. And roughly, we're at $65,000 to the good,
Right.
which is good,
But it's not much.
but it's not much. Don't forget, we were a million something last year at this time. She says last month. But last time, this last month, we were over $1 million.
Right.
Right at. So.
To be
our use
expected,
tax
yeah.
was way up, $400,000, $500,000 mark. And we're $1,000 below, that. So I don't think we haven't hit the benchmark the time before, but before that we have. So roughly, we're at $65,000 over budget now. Saying that, once again, I'm doing my disclaimer. That's with the budget cuts that we had approved, with what the current status right now, minus, with including the furloughs that we had, with the steady furloughs we did. So, basically, we're still out that money. Now, I call the union presidents, Matt and them did a great job, Karen, everybody else, the staff did a wonderful job. We got the CARES Act in, we had a special meeting, and lo and behold,
We got our money.
we got our money. So we were ahead of some of the other cities. And we wanted to get it, and we wanted to get our money in and get it done. So we have our money received from that. So we got about $1.5 million. So we're in good shape to maintain what we thought we would have. That's kind of exactly what once again, the budget we laid out and what I've been saying the whole time from a year ago has not changed one bit. Does that make sense? And what we're doing is exactly what we need to be doing. We're getting small things, we're getting the best we can, we're getting by,
Treading
but we're
water.
still not back to where we were, so we have to grow into our pot. So I want to make sure everybody understands it. I know you do, but I want the public, we're not even close to what we were last year.
No.
I mean, we're still down $300,000, $400,000.
But that's better than it could be.
We're doing great. Everybody's got their job. We're trying to stay afloat. $65,000 over one quarter is not a whole lot, but it's not bad. Okay, anything else, Marcia?
No.
Mr. Simmons, do you have anything on the financial side of it?
No, sir.
Okay. We'll move on to reports. Tracy?
I don't have anything.
Wow. Good. Bobo?
I'm good.
Jackie?
Mayor. So on Reno, we have and I went out and looked at a lady's house yesterday who her fence fell down because of the flooding in the creek. So what can I tell her about her area and what we're planning to do? Because I know we have new drainage on Sunset, but what can we do about her specifically?
This is the one, the address that you gave Matt and I, the
Yes.
505 address?
Yes, 520.
I'm sorry, I got it. The 500 blocks.
Yes.
It's right there from Keith to Reno, from the park to Watts.
Yes.
I got you. Let me kind of tell you about that project. We started, the first project we started right there on Watts, we went that way, then we got the other project, which is based on a CBGB grant, and that's government funded, and we had to put matching funds in that, and it's up to 50% matching funds, is that right, Matt?
Yes.
So we do 50% matching funds, it's usually up to $150,000, so we usually do a $300,000 project. So we couldn't do the big job this last year for the one for Sunset, no on. So we did the other one up by going around the corner, because we're going to tie on 4 Mile Creek. And then we could not afford to do the one block in between. So really all we lack now is that one block from Watts to Legion Park to get it all done. The problem that's complicated with that is there's a lot of lines that are in your utility lines that we didn't have in all the other projects. and we have to get right of way, and we don't have easement in some of those deals that we need to have. So we have to acquire some easement in order to get the working easement to get in those backyards, tear the fences down, everything else, replace it, everything else. So what do you tell her? We're working on it. It's gonna be this next year. That's in the hole. That's what we're trying to do the creeks first, which will be 4 Mile Creek, and the one back there in your ward that you asked about by Rose Witcher. All that's gonna be, all that ward, all that stuff down in your ward as far as 4 Mile Creek.
Right.
We're trying to clean all that out, and that'll help us get way ahead of all these ditches. I know everybody's frustrated with this water. The guys, we've had more water we ever had. It's record-breaking water. And you can't, I like when they show me pictures, and they say, well, the city cleaned ditches out, and the water's up here, and the T-posts are right here. You know, the ditches won't help that. You can't do anything about that. We have to get it in and out of here as quick as we can. So we're trying to do that, and the other thing we hope, Ms. Smith, that will help your ward also, what you're concerned about, is doing a catch pond on the other side of that pond that we have currently. It'll be like a dry pond, so it'll hold storage. We have
We have a drawing on that.
We're probably ready to put it out to bid next month. And the job for Boynton that you asked about, it is out to bid.
Good.
So that would be both your wards. You know, so that job is out to bid. Since her side of the point, which is not yours, but it's going to affect both sides. So that job is currently now out. Is that right, Matt?
That's right.
So basically what I'm trying to say is, we are working with drainage. She is the last piece of puzzle, but we think we can get the drainage done on the backside quicker. So we'll end up doing it first, so that should slow her water down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
And Carla, you talked about that address to us, something else. Does that answer your questions? So we got her on the list. We got to get her done, but that one is going to cost more money because it's just one block. But the problem is, it's a dense, high area block. I got trees that are this big. It's going to cost us a lot of money to get that one done.
Okay.
Is that right, Matt?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, Matt, what you got?
Well, I was just going to say, I saw some chatter today on reporting problems to the city, and I know there are a lot of concerns right now on drainage issues and those kinds of things. And Matt, actually, you answered it, that one of the best ways to communicate problems to the city is through our El Reno Connect app or See Click Fix. I think that we need to do a better job of communicating that and getting it out there, that that's out there and available. But that gives us the opportunity to track, to log it, assign it, and track it and complete it as far as all the issues that may come up, that somebody sees, a pothole, drain inlet that's covered in debris, any of those kinds of things. So that's one thing that I'm going to be working with Allie to get that out there, remind people that we have that available, and that's a good way to report problems to the city.
And the bottom line is, I've been pushing people that See Click Fix. It's a twofold system, and Matt, you're part of it, but the bottom line is it helps the department heads, if it goes to them, that it issues, once you click on that app and you're a concerned citizen, what you have done is you've created a work order.
Right.
So it alleviates tagging me, or I'm gonna tell Matt White, I don't really like them tagging me, but I wanna help everybody, so I try to do the best I can. I can't do it all. I really prefer to everybody go to See Click Fix, and if there's a problem at that point in time, and they can show me that it hasn't been addressed, then call one of us, let us know. You know, hey, I turned this in 15.
But does that not also keep, like, if you do something, they'll know as they go along, they'll be able to see everything that's being done as it's being done.
That's right. That's right.
The staff can't close it out.
Right.
So Matt can't go in there and say, I'm taking that off, I don't like that on. No, can't close it out to
Till it's
issue
done.
addressed. That's
Right.
Now, some things might not be able to do it that way, but I'm talking about problems.
For the most part.
There's a water leak, there's so-and-so, you know? It's like one lady, Tracy Tucker, she did a good job, she told me, she said, hey, there's a grate over there. I called Amy, Amy says, we can't get it because of COVID. It's an old grate, we can't get it, we're gonna make one, just to get by, in order to, you know, we've got a cone up there. And it's not like we're just gonna keep the cone up there, but on the other half, if we do put a cone out there or something like that, this helps us track that.
But that's also to help them with the city and the city with the
Exactly.
citizens, but not necessarily just to tell on your neighbor.
No. It's to
Just so
help
everybody
fix
knows, it's
problems,
not,
yes.
that's not what it's designed for.
That's right.
Well, it is.
To a point.
You can turn grass in, you can turn tall grass in, you can do a rest, but also, if there's a street light out.
Correct.
See, click fix, it gets to them just as fast as it does me. It'll get down, it'll go right to Kurt, and it'll go right to Public Works. They'll be alerted automatically, because it's categorized under alarm those two, or done. If there's high water or whatever else, emergency,
Sure.
it'll go to Doug. If there's just a drain needs to be pumped, then it'll go to Amy. Or, if there's a water leak, it'll go to Chris. And then it'll work through, and Matt can see all this and track all that, and so can Ally and Katie, and track all that. And basically, it doesn't work for us. So it comes back up every week to see how the progress is, to make sure it pops up on their computer, see where you're at. And they have to type in there, parts order, waiting on part, or, waiting on funding, it's Tracy's fault. We can do that.
Right.
I mean, it looks like this is how it kind of works. So-
Yeah.
It helps with transparency and what
Sure.
the status of the projects. So, and it also holds us all accountable. We want to take that list down to no problems as quickly as possible. So that's,
Well, and it's all about the citizens helping the city do what they need to do.
yeah, if we don't know about it, we can't fix it.
Correct.
I like how they get on there, this is terrible, why didn't the city do anything about it? What did you call? I didn't call it that, I just tagged you. Okay, well, I didn't know anything about it, but I guarantee if you would have secretly fixed it, you probably would have got fixed faster than me calling Amy, telling her to.
Hey, I stick up for you. I tell people, don't call Matt White, call the city.
Well, please don't stick up for me, Tracy, I don't want you sticking up for me. But
I will.
I got my own deal, and it works good for me. But I'm telling you, you have to use the city stuff, but I like being accessible, that's who I am. I'm not gonna have people change me. I like to do what I like to do. I like to be involved. I care about people. I want to help them. But it does work better if you use the system.
Sure.
And if you can't, if it doesn't work at that point, then call me, and I will help you. Does that make sense for anybody? I think that goes for anybody.
Sure.
All right. Now, added on to that, we have not had an El Reno now. So we had to put the information out or anything else in a long time because of COVID. And God, that was going real good. I know Jack, you provided food for some of that when you were doing the deal. But Roger had great crowds there, and it was really good. And ended up, this kind of we kind of have to do it right now. Craig and I both, just because of everything going on and stuff the schools are going through, and we're going through until we get past this. We're not going to do it. So we've partnered with the El Reno Tribune Media Group, and we're going to do an El Reno Live. And it's not going to be the school, it's just going to be us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take questions, the hard questions, and I'm going to answer them. And I'm going to see how it works. And I'll probably have you all want us guess different times so we don't do any rules. But I'm going to basically take these questions and they can get on Friday. They can live ask me, hey, Matt, how come we're not doing this? Or what can we do about this? Or why? And not just negative questions. We're happy with the city employees are doing. We appreciate them. We appreciate the police officers, what they're doing. We appreciate the firemen. This park got mowed real well. It can't be just a negative. It has to be a give and take. We're going to try to get it that way, and we're going to try to direct it that way in order to answer those questions. We're going to watch El Reno Live this Friday, and just try to see that. We're going to Facebook Live it. We'll just do it for a certain period of time. It's not going to be like an hour long. It'll be like a 20-minute, 30-minute deal, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. And get to the segment and just answer, well, how's the status on Fulton Street? Well, it's out to bid. When are y'all gonna get it fixed? Well, by law, we have to wait 30 days to put it out to bid. We have to have the engineer design it. We have to have it cambered. We can't the city doesn't move as fast as what you would in your house.
Sure.
So we feel like this is a good avenue of getting information out to the citizens at this point in time when they're kind of locked up and we're driving around and seeing things that they want to get done. Any questions? All right, motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
All right.
We're adjourned.